And welcome to Crypto Angles podcast. My name is Kelita, Sahliah. If you are new, if you're not, then welcome. And we basically use astrology of the sky, which is basically astronomy, in relation to the crypto market. So we don't necessarily use the fixed astrology system, which is tropical. We pay attention to nature and see exactly for ourselves what the dancing luminaries are doing in the sky above our head and how that impacts the crypto market. So welcome. This calendar is a transit calendar that is in alignment with the visible sky. It has all of the symbology that you can remember and learn, and it is available on Etsy, or you can message me directly. There is a digital and physical copy available, so feel free to check that out if you'd like. All the links will be in the description box below. But welcome. So as I said before, we look at the astrological story and see how that is impacting the current market. So I am a crypto enthusiast. So in today's video, we're going to be only focusing on Bitcoin and XRP, and we're going to have a little look at the DXY as well, because as I said before, the dollar, usually crypto, gold, etc., goes against the dollar, and the DXY is where we can find that out. So let's take a look at the actual story first, and then we will get into the charts. So we are now in April. So happy April, everyone. Happy April for when you're watching this. And we're focusing on this week right here, when Venus enters Aries, having the moon in Virgo. And oh, forgive me, this is Venus. When Venus enters Taurus, when Mercury enters Aries. So let's take a look at this half of the calendar. Oh, excuse me. So what I'm seeing, and I did mention this last week, so I am seeing like an amplification because of this transit happening here. As I said last week, let's just move this aside. This is like my older version of the calendar, you see. Move that there so I can find it. But I updated it from April to March 2024. So this is just the older copy. But this particular transit right here is what I'm super curious about. And I feel this will be impacting the market for the next 2 months. Okay, so throughout the whole of April and till the middle of May. This Mars in Gemini energy, I did talk about that a lot last week, so feel free to check that video out. But what I am seeing in relation to this story is that Mercury here will be amplifying this whole Mars in Gemini energy. Mars in Gemini, we have the fire and the air, and I said before, imagine like a flame and then the air comes and blows it. So this is why I was anticipating movement and volatility within the market. Now we've got this double now, so it's not one, it's two. So I'm seeing duality here in regards to like numerology. I am seeing duality, and two, I see that as the mirror, essentially the mirror to allow existence, that contrast to happen, to allow existence in our reality. So what I'm seeing here, because we're getting double the fire, double the air, I'm literally seeing we're going to see more movement, more volatility. I'm seeing it will be even more noticeable as Mercury is all up in Aries until it stations retrograde, when things will just be getting a little bit crazy. But we'll get to that week when we get to that week. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here. Mercury is the messenger. It is the it fuels our thought process, our thinking, our communication, money too. it is how we exchange energy, so any form of energetic exchange. And of course, because this is centered around crypto, I'm seeing an exchange within crypto, and I'm seeing fast movement within that exchange as well. Okay, so going on to oh, and of course, sorry, because Aries it's like the first, it's new, so that's why this form of exchange will come quite quickly, because Aries is quite quick, it's new, it wants to get to answers, it wants to get to its conclusion really quick, it wants to get the answer really quick. So I'm seeing that price will reach and go where it needs to go within this time zone. Okay, I'm not saying the moment it hits here price is doing its thing, not quite, because we've got it's like a combined of energies. Okay, this Virgo full moon, as I said last time, we had that Leo full moon. The Leo illuminated the way, it confidently shown the direction it was choosing to go. Full moons usually show the bottom, it usually shows the bottom of price before it makes its way, and the new moon finds the top of the market. So that's how it generally goes. The full moon energy and the new moon energy usually kicks in 5 days before. So 5 days before, the 6th is today, Sunday. So I am anticipating this energy to kick in. We're already kind of noticing it anyway, this full moon energy, because price seems to be wanting to find its bottom now, but we'll take a look at that when we look into the charts. And also Virgo in the story, I've gone back like 4 years in particularly XRP data and how it moves around different full moons and no moons basically. And Virgo, something I noticed is that when the previous moon wasn't quite decisive, Virgo didn't take much action, especially if it was in a no moon phase. In a full moon phase, when the previous moon was a bit more confident and was a bit more clear in what it's shown, Virgo took quite a, quite steady action, should I say, quite steady movement. So I am seeing this full moon to be quite powerful. Like once it finds its bottom, I'm seeing price will be just ready to make its way to find its top, its next local top, round about this solar eclipse. Now eclipses are heavy, and I am gonna do a video on it, which will come out this week. It will come out this week, so we will know about it. But I am expecting price to find its top round about here. So because it's finding its top, it may reach to quite some decent heights because it wants to eclipse people basically, but we're getting to that into another video. And with Venus touching into Taurus on the 7th of April, Good Friday, I am seeing swift movement happening which will impact our material. So Venus is super happy here because Venus fuels Taurus, so she's happy here. Something I also noticed was that, we will get into it more, but XRP's Venus is also in Taurus, so I'm seeing XRP having quite a nice field day during this season. Okay, that is what I'm seeing. And obviously because Taurus, the bull, it's like the toroidal field, it is your earthly pleasures now being impacted in your toroidal field in the earth plane, because it represents the material. So I am seeing swift movements happening in the material realm. So price may move in a way which will allow you to experience these pleasures whilst Venus is in there. And when does Venus move? Let's take a quick look. Okay, 8th of May. That's interesting. That is interesting. So I am seeing the markets getting crazily volatile, but also swift in its direction as it goes into May. So it is interesting that as Venus is in Taurus anyway, where we are ready, our values are based around the material, we'll be wanting to essentially get out of the market so we can experience this as part of our values, our material values, and then we will live it out when the sun enters Taurus even more, of course, whilst we're fresh to all of this volatility and just excited when the sun taps into Aries. So as I said, again, this will be different to mainstream astrology, because mainstream astrology is a fixed system that hasn't changed over years, whereas this is based off the visible sky. So if the luminaries move, we're moving with it. So we're gonna go now into the charts. Let's take an actual look at the charts. And my fan is getting so hot, so hot. So we will finish on the DXY, but this essentially is this is Bitcoin on the daily. So I'm clearly seeing right here it's stuck underneath this resistance because of this, let's say 200 moving average. Do you notice here you can see 200 MA, which is the white line? Price happily wicked here. This was the Leo full moon, Leo shown the way, and it bounced nicely off of this moving average. We did look at it on the weekly. Let's take another look at the weekly. Yeah, that cross has happened. So as I said before, because that cross has happened, I'm not seeing that this volatility and this upcoming movement coming, I'm not seeing it being long lasting, because on the weekly it's crossing like that. It's crossing, but of course on the daily now it's crossing in the opposite direction. So for the short term we can definitely see some upward momentum. And what I'm anticipating here, this is the next full moon on the 6th of April, and it will be the Virgo full moon, as I said. I'm definitely seeing once it breaks through this resistance and becomes support, may hover around another little resistance around 31, but I'm seeing its next level is basically 37 to 38k for Bitcoin. That's what I'm seeing. Will this full moon energy bring it down to bounce off or bounce closer to this 55 moving average, whilst the 200 just slowly catches up, something like that, and then crosses over down into September? We'll see. It may just follow the 55 right now, and to make it go up, basically. That is what I'm seeing there. Or it could also even wick down to the 200. I don't know. But what I'm anticipating really is once price gets really extended from these moving averages, I'm seeing that price could easily come back to retest this 200 moving average. So I'm personally paying attention to what this is doing. I'm gonna take a quick look at the candles. I've not done this in a while. I usually just use the line, because it's so much easier. But is there anything to see here with a candle? It is kind of like a little double top there, so maybe a quick wick down to find its bottom properly, touching this and then going up, touching the 555 moving average. That would be a bit healthy, to be fair. even down to this level, but it's kind of also like a flag, like this is known as a bear flag. It's kind of creating that pattern, but only if it was to come down a bit more. So we'll see. Let's just delete that. Not really needed. Not really needed. It's just a waiting game right now. For this week, I'm literally seeing the bottom coming in, and things moving quickly and things moving quickly. So I want to move on now to XRPZ. Let's take a look at XRP. So as you can see, it's like this full moon, new moon, no moon energy is definitely coming in more hotter with XRP right now, which is good, to be honest, because I feel it's already wicked down to this wick in terms of price testing itself. So it wicked up to like 49, about 49. It's a nice wick, and then it's wicked down to 49, 49681 to be precise. So it's wicked down to there. And something I've noticed with XRP is that once it does its little wick, it eventually just fills that wick within price action instead of it just being a wick. Not all the time, but I have noticed that. So as this full moon energy starts to come in, potentially we just get another leg down. And yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Look at this price. It went above it, couldn't really maintain it, and it's come back. It has rejected off it, hit there once. It may simply double bottom to retest this 55 moving average, and then that could send it off. I don't really see it touching the 200 moving average yet until I don't know, the 200 moving average will just move like this if it's up there and start coming down. I don't know, if price is coming down, it will start coming down with it, something like that. But this is on the 4 hour anyway, not the daily. But that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it will be a bit more realistic to continue off this 55 moving average, because it's not touched it in a minute. But whilst it's kind of hovering around that, this will give time to catch up. And then yeah, it could literally double bottom and then go on up. But this is the 4 hour, it's not as strong, so it literally could even wick down to here and then continue. Like, we're just waiting this week for it to find its bottom, essentially. And yeah, look at this, it's just been following. Ideally we want the red over the white. We want the red over the white. So, because if we go back, take another look, yeah, look at this. When it's following the upward trend, the 55 is over the 200. So we do want this to obviously cross again on the daily, and it's chilling out here again because price is just overextended itself. It has overextended. Now I do want to show you this. I want to show you right here. We have, I noticed this, and then I happened to watch my mentor's breakdown, and he actually said the same thing. I was like, whoa. So how can I get this line? How do I just draw a line? Yeah, this trend line. So from here, actually no, I'm going to use the brush. Let me use the brush. I'm just going to do a big thing. This is on the daily, and look at this. We've got a massive double bottom a massive W. It is this white line, so please bear with me. But this massive W, and you can see where I'm putting the W at the top. So these are called double bottoms, and we can figure out kind of how. Can I move this now? It's like I can't do this on my phone, you know, like just pick it up and move it. So we measure to see where it could potentially reach to. Once it breaks this neckline, we just measure it like what I did and put it here on where it will be breaking out from, to see potentially, it is a wonky line, but to see potentially the height it would be going to. And I did say that anyway, we've got like 70 to 80 cents here. And you know, when it comes to cryptos, they do sometimes push a little, but I'm seeing like 80 cents is quite reasonable. But of course the next level after that, no, like literally once it breaks here, there's really nothing much stopping it. We might take a little break, 79, and then the next one really is 87. Yeah, like it literally may stop a little at 79, because look, it's like it's mirrored, it mirrors. Look at this, price was at 88 and it went down to, we had a wick down there to 69. Oh wow. And then it went up to 79 and then down. So what I'm kind of seeing on the reverse, we could literally see a up to 79, that reject, just a slight reject, which might not be long, that could appear on the next new moon coming in. Yeah, because the new moon would be on, let's take a look actually, it's the 20th of April. So let's put in an actual horizontal line. Shall we can see, no, a vertical line. Yeah, gonna change that color just so we know it's a different, oh, all of them are this, that's not easy to read, is it? Sorry people. Green. So this is going to be a no moon, new moon here. So I am seeing potentially that's where price finds its top. And then it could experience some resistance there, because obviously we have this. But then our next one, of course, it's 88. It is actually 88. So could it go higher than that? Potentially. It could wick to the even this next level right here, because at the end of the day it's not passing like up there. So I am seeing conservatively a definite reach to this 79 to 80 region from this new moon. This next full moon coming in, being on, when's the next full moon? In May. So Libra, oh yes, so Libra, oh dear, what was it on? Libra the what? I just looked and then I forgot. On the 5th. So let's pop in another vertical line, and then we're gonna check on the DXY just to confirm all of this. So the 5th of May, change that back to white. So that is the next full moon where price should be out there finding its bottom. So let's go down to the 4 hour so we can see. Yeah, so it's a very ugly W now. It's a very ugly W. Yeah, Libra I'm seeing is the one that will bring the balance. It will bring the balance, this full moon. So yeah, it could find its bottom round about this 80 and then send it up, its last bottom, send it up to wick 90 to $1, around about that range, and then justice will come. Justice will come and it will bring it down. So that's what I'm kind of seeing with XRP. I'm definitely seeing around the 80 to dollar range is actually okay for it, and I see it will be reaching there quite quickly based on these simple technical analyses. So I'm far from an expert. I'm not an expert, but I do know how to read charts. So and I see the zodiac story. I see the zodiac story, and yeah, so that is me basically. So I do see this big W, and yeah, that's what I see. Let's take a look now at the DXY. It was there at the top, you know, and then I don't know how to find this thing. Alright, just go back. Yes, leave. DXY, last one, computer, you can do it. Are you gonna do it? It's struggling. Are you gonna do it or no? Apple, what's going on? Okay, it's starting to struggle now. Starting to struggle. Launch chart. So we'll just go over this and we'll summarize once it does it. So the DXY is just the dollar essentially. This doesn't particularly follow like the moon phases. Oh, and I will go back to XRP and just quickly show you the moon phases on it. But let's take a look once this loads. Okay, so you can clearly see like this 200 moving average, this white line. It's staying under it. It's rejected off it. It's rejected off this. Was once support for a little bit. Was support here? Was it a little bit? Then it broke through, retested it, and has back tested it again. And it's clearly a resistance now. So price is making its way to the downside. Let's take a look at the 4 hourly to see if there's any chance of like upward momentum just before continuation to the downside, because it does seem like the DXY has entered a down trend, and obviously this 200 moving average is here. What I'm seeing is price may attempt to become rejected off this 200 moving average, which will in return show me that the crypto is being pulled down to find its bottom. Okay, so when the DXY goes up, gold, crypto, anything against the US dollar goes in the opposite direction. Okay, anything in the same direction as the US dollar, it will obviously follow pursuit. But I'm seeing as this potentially gets pulled up to become rejected again off of the 200 moving average, this is where in crypto they will be pulled down to find their bottom for the moon. But as this gets rejected and of course continues to the downside, so something like this, it might make a little higher than that and then get rejected again down here. It may either listen to that, reject it slightly and break through, or break through straight away, retest that, and then continue down. That's kind of what I'm seeing with the DXY, and of course in relation to all the moon phases. the new moons, no moons that's happening within crypto. So I do want to just quickly show you these moon phases. So I'm getting rid of that. And as well, I didn't mention the RSI. It's like where the RSI is sat, it's been heavily overbrought. So and it's just hovering at this middle level here, and it does seem like it's gonna reject off it to become closer to the oversold region. I don't feel it will become overly sold like as back over here or there, but to get possibly a little higher structure than these two moments within the RSI, potentially on this pull down with the moon before it can make its way up again. But I did just want to add on the moon cycles just so you can see just so you can see. So it is a little bit messy. It is a bit messy. Oh dear, stop drawing. So as you can see, this was that Leo full moon that illuminated the way. It broke through this solid trend line right here. It just broke through it. That full moon illuminated the way. This no moon, new moon, it was finding its highs. But as you can see, this was a no moon in Pisces, and I found that Pisces is quite weak in terms of being strong and like saying, nope, this is it, this is the top. That's the best way I can put it, and to, you know, get it out of my head. It's quite weak in that regard. So I've noticed off more times than not, especially if it's like a no moon, price just goes a little bit beyond it, and it clearly has on this occasion. And I love how when this half moon came in, which was a first quarter moon, price just literally shifted its focus and direction. I'm seeing this full moon coming in, probably pop up about here. Price wicks off it nicely into this W structure and then goes up. But these are the moon phases, and that essentially is what I see this week in the charts. I know I went over a bit further, but because of these astrological stories, it's not necessarily just this is the story for this week, because as I said, we've got that Mars energy until the middle of May, whilst Mars is in Gemini, and then of course this Mercury energy is going to be in Aries even after it finishes. Even once it goes direct, it's still going to be in Aries, so I am paying attention to that. Yeah, so that's what I see in the charts. Anyway, bear in mind that I've said I'm not no expert, but I do know how to read the charts, and I love to stargaze and know the stories of the skies. So I do hope this made sense. I am thinking I'm going to put this on YouTube again, but this will be my last one I put on YouTube, mainly because this is my art, okay, and it's not free. Of course it's not free. It's my creation, it's my art. So if you would like access to it, I was gonna say you can join my Patreon, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm setting up a Patreon, but I'm keeping it quite small. So obviously if you've reached this far in the video, if you are interested in that, reach out to me and let me know, and I'll send you the direct link. I'm just open to working with a small amount of people whilst we examine all of this. Those who wanted to know the basics of how to read a chart, because I'll be going over these weekly. I'll be going over these weekly, and also I can teach the basics on how to read a chart, so that is available on the Patreon too. And also I found some amazing decode connections using like the periodic table, cards of illumination, tarot as well, and astrology, all linked within like different crypto coins. I've been linking some important connections with XRP, so all of that will be shared essentially on my Patreon. But again, I am keeping it small. But yeah, if you've reached this far in the video anyway, I guess you're interested in this. So yeah, do reach out to me. All my details are in the description below. This potentially will be my last one I'm putting on YouTube, or I literally may just do it for the whole of April. So for the first, each Sunday in April, so the 23rd, equaling up to 5, may be my last one I put on YouTube, and then after that it's just on Patreon then, because I've already shown you my April's creation and you've already took a glimpse into May. So the rest will be available, of course, on Patreon. Or if you'd like this anyway, it is available on Etsy. Get it. Just get it. But I do hope this has brought any clarity to you. I hope it was helpful, insightful in some way. A different perspective of the markets, essentially. I see there are many perspectives and there's many minds out here, and it's just about sharing your perspective to get a holistic idea of what the markets are doing, you know, because there's no coincidences, and numbers say it all, light says it all, mythology says it all. Astrology is the science of fractalized light based off mythological stories. Like you can't get any more. Astrology says a lot. That's all I can say. The fixed system tells an interesting story, as well as the sky. So I do pay attention to both, but of course I relate it more to the sky. I just pay attention to what the fixed story is telling us. But I've gone on too long. I do hope this helps. Thank you for listening to this Crypto Angles podcast. Second of many. And yeah, with that being said, Angel out. Bye.